Hey gamers, if you think you're a master paint mixer, then you want to check out Palette. Let's take a look at how this game plays. In this game, players are trying to have the most points by making the most secondary colors by combining their primary colors. On a player's turn, they will take two actions. The two available actions are Scrape and Score, and they can take the same action twice if it's better for them. When you're scraping, which is taking colors, primary colors, out of the palette, you can take any single color, and if the color happens to be adjacent to each other, then you can take multiple. So in this case, I could take just this blue, just this yellow, or I can take both reds, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And as soon as you take any cards out of the palette, then they will slide down and refill. So for my second action, I can't make anything with this still, so I'll just take a blue since there is a purple available. Hopefully it's still there when it comes around to my next turn. And again, we'll go ahead and slide down. And then maybe the next player will take some cards and some more things will come out, and we'll just say that another secondary color came out. So if the palette was all full of secondary colors, they will actually go ahead and wipe, and then you will refill with 5 new cards. The other action that I mentioned that players can take is to score. So on my turn, if this was how it was set up, but then I did have a red and a yellow in my hand, I could turn them in for this orange, and it would just be the one orange, so I would leave it facing this way and it'd be worth 1 point. If a player is able to turn in multiple scoring, again, they do have to be adjacent to each other. So let's say that that was what was in the palette, and I had this and this, which I could make the orange and the purple. I can score both of them, and because I'm scoring 2, I will turn the cards to show that I scored 2 cards, and I'll get 2 points for each of those. If I had done 3, I'd get here, and 4 would be here. So the more that you can score in a turn, the more points that you can get. Players will keep taking turns around the table until the deck is empty and the palette does not have 5 cards in it, and then they'll add up their scores, and whoever has the highest score will win. So I liked how easy this game was to get into. It was super approachable, the rules were super straightforward, everything worked together pretty well. I did think that sometimes it felt like there was a little bit too much of that luck of the draw. If somebody got really lucky and had 3 red cards all next to each other on their turn, they would get a way bigger hand than the next person who had 5 different colors that were out in the palette for them to take from. So there's always that luck of the draw with card games, but I just thought that some turns you felt it a lot more for this one. It can be really swingy for the scoring as well, because again, if somebody got lucky and there's a bunch of secondary colors lined up for them to be able to score, then they'll be able to just get a way better kind of multiplier than the next player if they're only able to score a single card because they don't happen to not be adjacent to each other. There's a little bit of planning that can be involved in that, because when you take the cards and slide them down, you can kind of force things to go together. But again, if you're just not getting what you want out of that deck, there's not a lot more that you can do to kind of mitigate that. But again, it is really straightforward. I think it's really approachable and really just great for kind of all ages, and even for younger players, it's fun because you can kind of also use it as a teaching opportunity to mixing the colors and everything, so I think that that's kind of fun as well. And it plays really quickly, which I also like. It doesn't take up a lot of table space. You can play it pretty much anywhere. So it definitely has some pros and cons for me, but you can check out my full thoughts on the blog today to decide if this one's for you.